Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Flower Cardian Yugioh deck profile for post Battles of Legend Armageddon. With the release of the latest Battles of Legend, we received more Flower Cardian support, and we also received plenty of new reprints in the Dragons of Legend, the completed series booster pack that was released even more recently, making it that much more easier to complete the Flower Cardian deck. For those of you that don't know, this is a Synchro-based deck that allows you to special summon out a bunch of different Flower Cardian monsters, adjusting their levels and going for the type of synchro you want, all being, even number synchros, being able to transform all the Flower Cardians into level 2s, and depending on how many you have on the field, go for that specific synchro summon. It's a really, really awesome deck used during the Arc 5 anime, used by Enjoy Chojiro, a very entertaining duelist, I would say for sure, with his playstyle of dueling, and I'm very happy with the results of the updated deck and the new support we received. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the actual Flower Cardian monsters, our main go-to one is Flower Cardian Pine. If this card is normal summon, you draw one card, show it, then send it to the graveyard unless it is a Flower Cardian monster. You can only use this effect of Flower Cardian Pine once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can draw one card. So just having that set up for more and more draw power, you have a potential draw 2 off of this card alone, but it's meant to be just for your setup because the requirements for a bunch of other Flower Cardian monsters are that you have a lower level Flower Cardian monster already on the field, and then you can just special summon after special summon all the different Flower Cardians on the field. Also, you're not really limited to a lot of your special summoning with Flower Cardian Pine, so that's a good point to remember because a lot of these Flower Cardians restrict you on your special summoning when you have them out on the field through their specific special summoning method. But you definitely want to max out all your numbers on the most important Flower Cardians so you see them more often, and that's the main point of the deck, just running a huge draw engine so you can get to your Flower Cardians that much faster as well. For the next Flower Cardian, potentially I want to run 3 Flower Cardian Zebragrass. I sadly was only able to pull 1 from my Dragons of Legend, the completed series, but for any other spots for Flower Cardian, let's say you're building this deck and you're missing spots, you can use Flower Cardian Maple with Deer and Flower Cardian Clover with Boar as substitutes for any of the cards we run in this deck. These cards are destruction cards, not so much adding to the actual playstyle for Flower Cardians, more to destruction plays you can do, but they can be added filler spots for any Flower Cardians you're missing until you get them. But Flower Cardian with Zebragrass, while you control a level 7 or lower Flower Cardian monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for Flower Cardian monsters. If this card is normal or special summon, you can reveal any number of Flower Cardian monsters in your hand, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw those same number of cards. So if you need just different amounts of Flower Cardians, Zebragrass really does come in handy. Having that set up for your Flower Cardian Pine is definitely needed first because then you can easily summon Zebragrass onto the field and then go from there with all the higher level Flower Cardian monsters also. And the fact that they all share 100 attack and defense will become very important later on in the video as well. For the next Flower Cardian, I'm also running 3 Flower Cardian Willow. If you also notice on a bunch of the different Flower Cardian monsters, they all have different monsters on them, or cards in general. You can see Naturia Cosmobeat on Zebragrass, and on Flower Cardian Willow we have Giant Trunade. I think it's a very nice touch they did for all the different cards. It's a card within a card. While you control a level 10 or lower Flower Cardian monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot normal or special summon, having the same restriction as all the other Flower Cardians we spoke of. And once per turn, you can target one Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and draw 1 card. So with the investments you're doing with these cards, Willow is definitely important because it just gives you consistency for your draw power. Being able to have hand consistency, the Flower Cardians can be special summoned back from the graveyard, but you need that consistency back into your deck as well for that draw power to keep giving you more and more resources that you can special summon out onto the field. With the last of our 100 attack point Flower Cardian being Flower Cardian Polonia, this one being while you control a level 11 or lower Flower Cardian, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot normal or special summon for the rest of the turn except Flower Cardian monsters. And once per turn when this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack and end the battle phase, then draw 1 card. The fact that it ends the entire battle phase is insane. Having this as a go-to setup on the field, regardless of not or what other Flower Cardians you have. So you want to have that setup, and also the fact that when we get to the tuner, I'll speak of the setup you can do for all of your different Flower Cardian plays. But being able to rely on Polonia for that easy special summon, just like the other 3 we just spoke of, makes it that much easier to summon out, and the 100 attack and defense will come in handy when we go over the Flower Gathering spell as well. For some of the other Flower Cardian monsters with different special summoning methods, I also run 3 Flower Cardian Cherry Blossom with Curtain. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by its own effect. You can reveal this card in your hand, draw 1 card. If you do, show it, then special summon this card if the drawn card is a Flower Cardian monster. Otherwise, send this card and this card and the one you reveal to the graveyard. During either player's damage step, when your Flower Cardian monster battles an opponent's monster, you can discard this card. Your battling monster gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. So the big play with Cherry Blossoms with Curtain is that it acts as an honest for all of your different Flower Cardian monsters, even your Synchro monsters, which we run in the deck, as an added protection for those cards when your opponent tries to attack into them. That's why I like to run 3 Cherry Blossom with Curtain. It's just another easy special summon. It cannot be normal summoned or set, but that fact that you can reveal it and special summon means you don't have to rely on any of the lower level plays that you did with your other Flower Cardians on the field. Cherry Blossom is just that risk, but even if you miss it, you can still set it up in the graveyard for summoning it back later on. For the new monster we received in the Battles of Legend Armageddon, I am running 3 Flower Cardian Cherry Blossom. There's just no Curtain with this card. If you control a level 2 or lower Flower Cardian monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except Flower Cardian monsters. Once per turn, you contribute 1 Flower Cardian monster to draw 1 card. If you do, show it. Then if it's a Flower Cardian monster, you can take 1 Flower Cardian monster from your deck, except for basically Cherry Blossom, and either add to your hand or special summon it. Otherwise, send that card you drew to the graveyard. This is a great way to get your tuner out, but also a easy way just to have more and more setup, because the fact that you need a level 2 or lower Flower Cardian to special summon this card out onto the field means you can have the adjusted Flower Cardian levels after you adjust their levels to 2, and then special summon Cherry Blossom out onto the field. What's also a big benefit is that with the extra monster zone, you can summon your Synchro monster there and still have your spaces free in your main monster zone to summon out more Flower Cardians, which normally, before we had the extra monster zone, we were limited to the amount of plays we could do, having the Synchro monster in the main monster zone and then having only 4 other spots. But now with the extra monster zone being the spot for our extra deck monsters, even though we are in Master Rule 5, you can put the Synchro monsters during the game in the main monster zone. You have that option available to you to put them in the extra monster zone as well. And now for our tuner that we are running to finish off the monsters altogether, I'm running 3 Flower Cardian Peony with Butterfly. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by tributing 1 Flower Cardian monster, except for Flower Cardian Peony with Butterfly. If this card is special summoned, draw 1 card. If you do, show it. And if it's a Flower Cardian monster, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, and then place them all on the top or bottom of the deck in any order. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. When this card is used as a Synchro material, you can treat it and all the other Synchros that have a level as level 2 monsters. So with that option, you have available to you for the level 2 plays as an option to use this card. Let's say you have this and all your other Flower Cardian monsters on the field. So with the ones we spoke of already, if you have all of that set up ready on the field, you have the adjusted play for your level 10 Synchro right then and there, being able to adjust all their levels to 2, having that summon, and then choose whether you want a level 6, 8, or 10 for all the different Flower Cardian plays you can summon out using this deck. That's how great the tuner is in the deck for the setup. It has a very different setup as well for summoning it out, but you should have plenty of Flower Cardians available to you on the field to use that play for. And it doesn't have to be special summoned through its method for that summon. It just has to be, used for the Synchro method to use the other monsters as level 2 also. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 flower stacking. The majority of the spells in this deck are just for searching out, drawing, and then just setting up all of your different Flower Cardian spells and cards all together. You choose 3 Flower Cardian monsters with different names from your deck. Place them on the top of your deck in any order. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 1 Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. You can only use this effect of flower stacking once per turn. So a great way to reuse your Flower Cardian Pine with this card, but also with the draw reveal for a lot of different of the Flower Cardian cards which we spoke of. Being able to reveal the top card as a Flower Cardian using flower stacking makes it all the better, because you'll know you'll be revealing a Flower Cardian to gain the additional effects for your other Flower Cardian monsters. It definitely does feel like I've said Flower Cardian a lot during this video for sure. For more of the special summoning option, I run 3 Recardination. Target 1 Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Flower Cardian monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. if this card is sent to the graveyard by a Flower Cardian monster, you can basically excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. If you do, you can add 1 excavated spell or trap to your hand, place the remaining on the top of your deck in any order. So a specific card you may need. It's not so much a monster reborn, it's more of a add back card, but then giving you the special summon from your hand for another Flower Cardian just gives you more and more consistency onto the field to summon out, let's say, some of the other adjusted level Flower Cardians altogether. And I potentially do want to run probably the best spell in the deck. I have 1 spot filled in for Flower Gathering. This is being filled in by a Super All-In, one of the other new cards from the booster set. With Flower Gathering, this is your main go-to spell. You special summon 4 Flower Cardian monsters with 100 attack and different names from your deck in a attack position. But these cards or effects are negated, and they cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. You can only activate 1 Flower Gathering per turn. You cannot no more special summon except for Flower Cardian monsters the turn you activate this card. But this is your setup, and then you have the option with Peony with Butterfly to then summon this card and use the rest of them as level 2s. It doesn't matter what their effects are because Peony with Butterfly will be the one adjusting them to level 2. Flower Gathering just gives you an easy setup and then resources in the graveyard as well. So you definitely want 3 of this card. I have a Super All-In, which might be a little easier for some of you to gather if you've purchased the Battles of Legend Armageddon set, and then just, you know, take those cards out as you get a Flower Gathering for those other spots, because you definitely do want to run 3 of this card in the deck for its overall special summoning power. I do run 1 Super All-In though. You return 1 Synchro monster you control the extra deck. If you do special summon 4 Flower Cardian monsters from your graveyard, then draw 1 card and show it. If it's a Flower Cardian monster, special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. Otherwise, destroy as many monsters you control as possible. And if you destroy at least 1, half your life points. During the end phase of this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there by an effect of a Flower Cardian monster the turn. While in your possession, you can add 1 spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a very, very risky card. That's why I'm only running 1 of it, but it could potentially be the play you need to just have more resources for a different play you want to take. But also, being sent by a Flower Cardian card gives you more options with it, being able to recycle a bunch of other different Flower Cardian spells you had in your graveyard back to your hand. And for more of the generic spell support I run 3 Allure of Darkness. All of the Flower Cardian cards are Dark Attribute, so if you have multiples in your hand, you just need better draw power to go into. Allure of Darkness definitely does come in handy with that play. The same being Advanced Draw. Unlike Trade-In, this card works by attributing 1 face-up level 8 or higher monster you control to draw 2 cards. It's not a once per turn either, just like Allure of Darkness. So if you have multiples of this, you just have the draw power to keep on drawing as long as you have the higher level monsters on the field, which are the majority of the Flower Cardian monsters we spoke of with the 100 attack. And I also run 2 Desynchro, more resources with this card. If your opponent stops your Synchro monster, let's say with an effect veil or something like that, just Desynchro the monster, get all your monsters back onto the field you used for the summon, and go into a different Synchro summon. Plus you got all those resources again, because those monsters will have their effects on the field again, and cards like your Willow will be able to reuse all their recycle power as well when you use Desynchro. And for the last of the one-ofs, 1 Reinforcement to the Army. It only has 1 main search target I like to go for. You can go with Cherry Blossom with Curtain, or even your Cherry Blossom, Ultra, the new one. But the main one I like to go for is Pine, because Pine sets up all your plays to go for with this deck. So Reinforcement to the Army is a great search spell in this. Sadly, it's only at 1, so we have to rely on 1. But with all the spells just being search power altogether, it's not that big of a problem either. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run the 1 Flower Guardian Light Shower. It's really all you need. You just need 1 tuner and 3 non-tuners to make it. So you need that specific play for your Flower Guardians to summon this card out. Your opponent cannot target Flower Guardian monsters you control with card effects. Also, those monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. During your opponent's draw phase, if they drew a card for their normal draw, inflict 1,500 damage to your opponent during the draw phase. And also, your opponent's end phase, activate 1 of these effects. They either skip their draw phase of the next turn for yourself, or this card has its effects negated during your opponent's next standby phase. So you either skip your draw once you use this card for maximum protection and burn damage to your opponent, or you take the risk of it potentially being destroyed by your opponent. But that's where I love the Synchro play coming in, being able to give you your resources back, summoning it out again. So even if its effect is negated, you can just Desynchro this card, summon it back to the field again, and then go for the burn draw during your opponent's next turn. Your next boss monster being Flower Cardian Light Flare, being a level 10 Flower Cardian, having the option for those power boosts for negations against your opponent's spell and traps, but also when it leaves the field, you have options to special summon out another Flower Cardian Synchro from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. So even Flower Guardian Light Shower can become an easy summon when using this card and having the full Flower Guardian setup on your field with this card also. For some of the higher numbers for these synchros, I run 3 Flower Cardian Moonflowering, 1 tuner, 1 non-tuner. Once per turn during your main phase, you can draw 1 card. If you do show it, if it's a Flower Cardian monster, you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions, and it can attack directly this turn. If you activated this effect, skip the draw phase during your next turn, and when this card is used as a synchro material, you can treat it and all other synchro materials as level 2 monsters. So, also, don't forget, with Moonflowering, it is a Synchro tuner, so you can use this card as an added tuner if you go into this with Peony with Flowers first, having more resources to summon out on the field also. And I also run 2 Flower Cardian Boardfly. If a Flower Cardian you control attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing battle damage, which is insane when you set up your Light Flare as well in the deck. And then just being able to have this option to stop your opponent's card effects from their graveyard is an added bonus using your Boardfly on the field. For the rest of the extra deck, I run 1 Cross Shape. With your Synchro monsters, it's all the better for sure. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Isolde. Excuse me, I said Flower Cardian so much during this video. I definitely feel like it's taking a toll on me for sure. 1 Isolde, this one's great. It searches out a warrior monster, which are the, Flower Cardians in general, but just being able to search out a particular one you want. You won't be able to summon it that turn, but having that resource for next turn when you can make Isolde is a big play for sure. 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice with the Dark Attribute. You don't make the Link monsters as often as the Synchros. I just like to have them as the added option. Link Karibo as well. Even if you just open up Flower Cardian Pine and then just link into the Link Karibo and then add it back with Reincarnation. I'll show the play in just a second as well. But 1 Nightmare Unicorn and 1 Access Code Talker to finish off the deck for the extra deck as well. And as for your main go-to plays, like I said, the big one, if you open up just the Reincarnation and your Flower Guardian Pine, you can summon your Flower Guardian Pine. If it's normal or special summon, draw 1 card, and then you can use this effect once per turn. And then you're not limited to your special summonings yet when you use Pine, but then you can link for 1 and then activate after you summon your Link Karibo onto the field into the extra monster zone. Don't forget, you can activate Reincarnation to target a flower card in your graveyard, add back to your hand, and then you can special summon 1 from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you can get Pine back onto the field, and then if you have the other Flower Cardians to special summon out, you can go from there, having that extra monster resource. It comes in handy when you have the Reincarnation, and you just want that extra protection for your monster's defense using Link Karibo, because the other Flower Cardians specify for this card. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon except for Flower Cardian monsters. So anything beforehand is fair game with your plays, as long as you do it before the special summon restrictions kick in for your other Flower Cardians. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, it's definitely a fun deck if you're looking for a Synchro deck to try. This one definitely became more easily available to play for sure. But like I said, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.